In the late 1960s, a time when peace, love, and freedom were the mantra of a generation, a sinister shadow emerged, a man whose name would forever be etched into history for the horrors he inspired. What if I told you that one man, armed with nothing more than his words, could convince ordinary people to commit the unthinkable? What if the peace and love movement had a twisted underbelly, a story so shocking it still sends chills down spines today? This is the story of Charles Manson and the Manson family. But this isn't just a story about murders. It's about manipulation, cult psychology, and the dark side of human nature. By the end of this video, you'll see the haunting ripple effects of one man's control over others. Are you ready to explore the mind of madness? Let's begin. Before Charles Manson became a name synonymous with terror, he was just another troubled boy. Born to a 16-year-old single mother in 1934, his childhood was a patchwork of instability, abuse, and crime. Imagine this: a young boy, unwanted and neglected, bouncing between relatives and reform schools. By the time he was a teenager, Manson had already learned the art of survival through manipulation, a skill that would later define his infamy. But let's pause here for a moment. Have you ever wondered how someone with such a turbulent beginning could go on to control others so completely? Hold that thought, we'll come back to it. In and out of prison, Manson discovered his charm and his weapon: words. He studied Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People and honed his ability to manipulate. By the mid-1960s, Manson had one goal: to make it big in the music industry. But here's where the story takes a dark turn. Manson didn't just want fame, he wanted control. And when Hollywood rejected him, he found a new audience: lost souls searching for meaning. And so the seeds of the Manson family were planted. But how did a group of drifters and dreamers transform into a cult capable of murder? The answer lies in the deserts of California. In 1967, Charles Manson arrived in San Francisco's Haight-Ashbury district, a haven for hippies. With his guitar, his charisma, and his promises of love and freedom, he began to attract followers. His family, as they called themselves, wasn't bound by blood. They were bound by Manson's hypnotic control. They believed he was a prophet, a messiah who could lead them to salvation. Now, if you're thinking, wait, wasn't this the same guy rejected by the music industry? You're not wrong. But somehow, in the desert, he was suddenly the second coming of Christ. Go figure. Manson preached an apocalyptic prophecy called Helter Skelter, inspired by the Beatles' song. He claimed a race war was coming and that the family had a divine role to play. But here's the chilling part: this wasn't just about waiting for the end. Manson believed they needed to spark it themselves, and that's when the Manson family began their descent into violence. First, it was small crimes, breaking into homes, stealing cars. But soon, they graduated to something far darker. The events of August 1969 would shock the world. Stay with me. On the nights of August 8th and 9th, 1969, Los Angeles became the stage for a nightmare. Actress Sharon Tate, 8 months pregnant, and 4 others were brutally murdered in her home. The next night, Leno and Rosemary LaBianca were slain in equally gruesome fashion. The killers, Manson's followers, acting on his orders. But here's the terrifying twist: Manson never physically harmed anyone. He didn't have to. His words were the weapon, his followers the tools. The trial of Charles Manson and his followers was a spectacle. Manson carved a swastika into his forehead, while his followers showed unwavering loyalty, smiling and singing as they faced life sentences. But was Manson truly the mastermind, or were there other forces at play? How does someone gain that level of control over others? And what about the victims, their lives cut short, their families left to grieve? The ripple effects of Manson's actions didn't end with his arrest. They changed America forever. Does this story make you wonder how many other Mansons are out there, hiding in plain sight? A chilling thought, isn't it? And though Manson died in 2017, his dark legacy lives on. But there's one more piece to this puzzle, a shocking connection between Manson, Hollywood, and the 1960s counterculture. You won't want to miss this. Charles Manson wasn't just a criminal. He was a mirror reflecting the fears and vulnerabilities of society. His story is a cautionary tale about the power of influence and the danger of unchecked charisma. As we close this chapter, ask yourself, how can we recognize manipulation before it's too late? And what lessons can we learn from the Manson family's tragic tale? Thank you for joining me on this journey into darkness. If you found this video compelling, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, stay vigilant and stay curious.